Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome to all of you. Good to see you here this morning for the Satsang. There are questions there, okay. Yeah. No, that's all right. We'll complete this and then look at them. It's quite an elaborate document here. I don't know whether you have it or not, but I'll read it for you. Before stating the question, context to the question, Gita chapter 6.25, topic of Nididhyasana, relevant passage. In meditation, will is only with reference to sitting and other preparations. Once these are taken care of, the will does not do anything. In fact, will is a problem and therefore has to surrender to the contemplation itself. The contemplation takes over your will, so to speak. The mind becomes as though possessed. You as a person, the contemplator, are possessed by that very contemplativeness. Therefore, no will is required here. What will you do? What will do? You require to appreciate something beautiful. What will you do to appreciate something beautiful? Nothing. To appreciate something beautiful, you do not require to do anything. The very will gets resolved in the appreciation of that which is beautiful. That which is inspiring. What will is there when you have love for something? Whatever will there is just resolves. Similarly, in contemplation, you do not push your will in order to gain Atma. You do not grind your teeth, roll up your sleeves, sit in your seat of meditation and say, today I am going to get that Atma. There is no such thing. It's not like wanting to do something or gain something that the world has to offer. If you want to do a particular job, for example, you can assert your will and get it done. But you cannot sit down, crush your eyelids together tightly and say that you are going to get that Atma. All that you will get is a headache. A person who tries to gain Atma by using his or her will not gain Atma because the person is Atma. This is the background in the Bhagavad Gita Home Study course that I just read for you. It still continues. Therefore, first one creates contemplativeness, which is then taken care of by one's exposure to the teaching. You must know what you are aiming at. Conveyed here by Atma samstham manah kritva nakinchana vikincha chintayet. The verse from the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Shanaihi Shanaihi Uparamed Buddhya Dhritigrahitaya Atma samstham manah kritva na kinchidapi chintayet. Here, shanai, slowly and slowly you make your mind inward. And once mind abides in the Atma, then you don't do na kinchidapi chintayet. No chintanam. What is involved, what is required is seeing rather than doing. That's what he stated there. Let the appreciation of Atma take place in the mind, as it were contemplating on the non-separation of knower-known knowledge, or by taking a particular expression such as Satya Swarupam, I am the truth of everything, Satya Swarupoham, I am the truth of everything, and meditating upon it. This is a contemplation that is in keeping with the teaching. Nothing new, no new knowledge is created here. Rather, your mind is brought to focus on what is already understood again and again. This then is the meaning of the expression in this verse, Atma samstha manah kritva na kinchidapi chintayet. Atma samstha manah kritva, making your mind centered upon the Atma, the Self, na kinchidapi chintayet, then do not think anything. Meaning here is a question of seeing rather than thinking. As the description said, when you go, when you have a flower in front of you, or you happen to come across a very beautiful bush having lots of flowers, what is to appreciate the flowers? So when you see the flower, enjoy the beauty, no thinking is involved. Meaning you do not deliberately think, you just appreciate or enjoy the beauty of the flower. So idea is that whenever you are experiencing something or enjoying something, no will is involved. Even when you put rasagulla on your palate, you just enjoy it, no thinking or no will is involved. Will is involved when you want to do something, but when you want to appreciate something, enjoy something, like listening to music also, your will drops. Meaning that there is no effort on your part to do anything, just be there and enjoy it. Similarly, it's a question of enjoying Atma. You have done what is required to be done as far as the frame of mind is concerned. That mind is now an appreciative mind, not a doing mind, and then you just appreciate Atma. So now, after this background, the question comes. In chapter 6.25, chapter 6, verse 25, in the following passage, Puja Swami seems to suggest the will is not involved in contemplation. In meditation, in inverted commas, will is only with reference to sitting and other preparations. Once these are taken care of, the will does not need to do anything. This is for any experience. You want to watch a movie, you do what is necessary to, start the movie and choose a seat, sit comfortably, and then the enjoyment takes place where your will, free will has no role to play, will is dropped, you enjoy. In short, in any experience, the will is not involved, the mind is involved, and you bring the mind to a situation where it is ready to enjoy or ready to experience what is there. Even for the movie also, you bring about a frame of mind such that now it is ready to enjoy what is going to come. So, similarly also, what Puja Swamiji says, that in contemplation what you are doing is like enjoying Atma, appreciating Atma. In that process, no will or no effort is involved. In meditation, will is only with reference to sitting and other preparations. Once they are taken care of, the will does not do anything. Instead, Puja Swami advocates developing the quality of being contemplative, and the contemplation will just happen. However, at the end of the passage he says, let the appreciation of Atma take place in the mind, either by contemplating upon the non-separation of knower-known knowledge, or by taking a particular expression such as Satya Swarupaham, the truth of everything, and meditating upon it. This is a contemplation that is in keeping with the teaching. This is what Puja Swami says. Here he seems to be advocating for a will-based practice, like Drishya or Shabdanuvidya. But it's done in passive voice, which seems to indicate it is just something that happens without an act of will by someone taking on the role of meditator. So I'm confused whether Swamiji is recommending a will-based nididhyasana in this passage, and in general, what Puja Swamiji is saying is, for example, in order for me to enjoy this flower, I must have my eyes focused upon the flower. For that purpose, if I am looking elsewhere, I must turn my face towards the flower, direct my eyes at the flower, and create that harmony between my eyes and the flower and the mind. Once that is done, then nothing needs to be done for enjoying the flower. For example, if you want to enjoy a piece of sweet, then you need to bring it to your plate, or from the plate to pick it up, put it on your tongue. And then for enjoying, no will or effort is required. Effort is required to create a situation so that you can enjoy. Want to watch a movie, then you need to make an effort. Switch on your TV and whatever channel is required and whatever adjustments are to be done. Once that is done, then for watching or enjoying movie, no effort is required. Similarly also for contemplation upon the self, Puja Swamiji seems to compare that to just appreciating Atma, enjoying Atma. Just do what is necessary to focus on Atma samsam manah kritva. Lord Krishna says, Shanaihi Shanaihi Uparamet Buddhya Dhritigrihitaya Atma samstha manah kritva na kinchirapi chinte. Slowly and slowly you withdraw your sense organs and make the mind inward, Shanaihi Shanaihi, slowly and slowly. Atma samsam manah kritva, making the mind focused upon the Atma, nakinchida vichintayet, then don't think then don't do anything, just appreciate Atma. So, I'm confused whether Swamiji is recommending a will-based nididhyasana. What Swamiji is saying is that will or effort is required for the mind to focus upon the self. Just as an effort is required to direct my eyes to the flower. When that is done, then what remains is just appreciating the flower, which process does not require the will. So will is required for creating conditions so that you can enjoy the flower. When that condition is created, meaning that the eyes are directed to flower, then all you need is appreciation, then no will or effort is required. Is it clear? I am confused whether Swamiji is recommending will-based nididhyasana in the passage. Swamiji is recommending the use of will to create condition for nididhyasana. Once that condition is created, then no will is required. And I said, will or effort is required to create conditions so that you can see this flower. Once that is done, then no effort is required in seeing the flower or enjoying the flower. Similarly, effort is required to make the mind centered upon the self. Atma samsam manah kritva. Atma samsam, centered upon the Atma. So making the mind centered upon Atma, then no effort is required. Na kinchid abhichintet. Then do not think, then drop all the effort. So is that clear? Or any question? This is the question from Vijay Kumar Shalini. Context of the question, chapter 2. Talking of samanatva or samatva guna, one understands it well. But putting into perspective in Vyavaharika world, especially with physical pain and discomfort of the body, how should a human being deal with it? Remaining calm and quiet in the midst of pain, it is difficult. Usually when Lord Krishna teaches samatvam yoga uchyate, sameness of the mind is called yoga. It is presumed that you have a control over your mind so they can bring it to a required condition of sameness, attitude. When there is pain and things like that, it is difficult. Because that pain depends on the intensity of pain. But it's quite likely that the pain may control your mind. At that time, my suggestion would be to repeat your name, Om Namah Shivaya or whatever. So that is what you can perhaps do that even in pain also, you can repeat the name of Ishvara. At that time, samatvam, etc. would be difficult. And so all we can say, I can say is, depending upon the situation, you will do appropriate thing. The samatvam may not be possible in every situation, but something is possible in every situation. Even in the condition of pain, it is generally possible to remember Ishvara and repeat his name. That is, you can call it samatvam if you want, but then samatvam does not have much role to play at that time. Samatvam in sameness of the mind has a role to play when the mind has a tendency to react. When the mind has a tendency to react with disappointment or with elation, harsha and shoka. Harsha means something desirable happens and you get elated. Sukha is something undesirable happens, you get depressed. This elation and depression, harsha and shoka, both are conditions that take place where you have no control. Therefore, both are called reaction. And that is where it is important that we maintain an alertness of the mind and not submit to the reaction of harsha and shoka. If you can remember that what is called desirable is out there, what is undesirable also is out there. Harsha means elation, shoka means depression comes when I hold myself responsible for what is happening out there, which we usually do. When you do something, some karma is performed, karma phala, the result of the action comes, and usually we identify with the result of the action. Result is successful, then I brand myself successful. Result is a failure, I brand myself a failure. This happens habitually. It is our habit to identify with the outcome and then brand ourselves as successful or failure. When I brand myself successful, I am very happy, I get elated. When I brand myself failure, I become depressed. Well, Lord Krishna says samatvam, or sameness of the mind, that is possible only when I do not identify with the outcome. This habit of branding myself successful and failure based on outcome of an action. As action is successful, action is failure. I am simply a performer of an action. Success and failure do not belong to me. Is action that is successful, action that is failure. If you can create that distance, then there will be no reaction. But what happens is habitually, I identify with the outcome and say, I am successful, or I brand myself a failure. Successful, a reaction of harsha, failure, a reaction called shoka, our habit. So Lord Krishna is a very beautiful, teaching here. Just stay away from the habitual identification with outcome. Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Lord Krishna says you can identify with karma, that I perform the karma. Ma phaleshu kadachana, do not identify with the outcome. Lord Krishna accepts identification with karma at this stage. Because then only there is a value and dharma is involved. So I must make sure that the karma that I perform is what is right and not what I like. So that kind of identification with karma is appropriate at this point. But even then also Lord Krishna says, do not identify with the result, meaning that do not judge yourself based on the outcome. If you have to judge yourself based on the effort. Whether what I did was right or not. If not, then you commit yourself to do what is right. Therefore, what is meant by samatvam is not identifying with the outcome, not taking the ownership of the outcome. Karmanyavadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturubuhu ma te sangostu karmani. Do not become the hetu. Do not become the owner of the karma phala. And of course, don't take to inactivity also. Is that clear? What is meant by samatvam? Is not identifying with the outcome, not judging myself by the outcome. Next one. We studied Gita for over 11 years, Gita Home Study. We all, meaning the whole team, did it with utmost sincerity. All through 10 volumes and 18 chapters, Puja Swamiji's explanations were very clear, lucid and complete. If there were any doubt, it was clarified by Swami P, Swami V, Swami TV and Swaminathan Mama. We moved to the next verse. Only after everyone was clear with the current verse and all of us were comfortable, meaning understood it. This meant that we studied a few verses multiple times as a revision, and we felt we understood all the verses and everything was clear. Then question, part A. Within 1 year after completing the Gita Home Study, now every verse seems new. Even though while studying, we spent so much time on every verse to get the clarity, just after 1 year after the study, every verse looks strange or new. And we have forgotten everything that we have studied. Now, we include everything, but I guess the questioner can say, I have forgotten everything. That may be the case with others also. The same thing that I studied for 11 years, we're so familiar with just 1 year, and we forgot. Does this mean understanding, into the inverted commas? Understanding something doesn't mean is translated into knowledge. And how can we ascertain that we truly understood a subject and it doesn't have a memory to recollect it? This is part A question. Does this mean understanding something doesn't mean it is translated into knowledge? How can we ascertain that you understood a subject and it doesn't depend upon memory to recollect it? You have understood the verse, but as far as the verse is concerned, it certainly calls for memorizing. And understand that memorizing means that you should repeat it every day. If you want to memorize a verse, you must repeat that verse every day. Whenever 2 verses, repeat them. So, 1 verse today, a new verse. Yesterday's verse is repeated, and then this verse. Then again 2 verses repeated, a 3rd verse. There was one great Swami, his name was Akhandanandi. He said the way to memorize the verse is do 1 mala. Karmanyavadikarasya mahaphalika karmanyavad. 108 times, likely you remember, then also you may not remember, even you may forget after 6 months. But that is how our mind is. Because we are preoccupied with too many things which are more important to us than a verse. Because not only it is remembering something that you repeated, it is something that is important to you. And many things in our day-to-day life are more important than some of these verses. And therefore they occupy our mind and verses are forgotten. So this is with everybody who is living their day-to-day life and preoccupied in their life. So my suggestion is that identify a few important verses which you think you want to remember. Nityakram, every morning set aside half an hour to repeat those verses, repeat those verses, repeat those verses. Hopefully you'll remember it in several months. Rama, 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 Rama. And we used to, in Sandipani, every morning repeat these poems. Gacchati, Gacchata, Gacchanti, etc. Then we could remember them. So, therefore, because the mind has many other priorities, therefore, these things are forgotten. In fact, even when we are remembering them, our attention may not be 100% on them because other things may be, going on in the mind. So if you, just because you do not remember, does not mean you are not understood. Doesn't mean that you don't have knowledge. Memory is a different kind of a thing, and that requires a different kind of practice. Can you explain how Shastras define the various forms of vrittis? Intellect, knowledge, memory, jnanam, etc. And why is it that for some people memory is better, while for others jnanam happens easily? They are predisposed to understand and recollect better than others. That's so. But that may be, when it comes to maybe financial matters, you may be much better than them in this case. Everybody has affinity for certain things. So we'll remember, flowers very well, birds very well, plants very well, Sanskrit, Vyakaranam very well. Everybody has some talent. But then, the talent that this person has for remembering the verses, you may not have. You may be good in something else. So, but we can always cultivate memory, as I said, by a deliberate practice of choosing something that you like to remember and trying it. Can you also explain this from the perspective of Puja Bada Swamiji, BMI chart? In contrast to Viveka Chudamani, that is Vasanas in Karna Shariram, Buddhi Jnana Vijnanamaya Kosha, Manas Manomaya Kosha. And how would one kosha influence the other? Viveka Chudamani, that is Vedanta, analyzes our personality as made of 5 layers, if you wish. Annamaya kosha, subtler than that Pranamaya kosha, subtler than that is Manomaya kosha, subtler than this Vijnanamaya kosha, subtler than that Anandamaya kosha, and subtler than that Atma or Brahma. So you draw different charts and things like that to explain this. Bada Swamiji would make chart like this, one within another. So 5 circles will be there. The ways of helping the audience to understand these concepts. So you had a BMI, PFT, OET chart, very famous. And with his, what do you call it, not pointer, that is, what was it? Telescopic, but mean what we have in the radios, etc. Okay. What pointer? What do you have on your radio? Antenna, Kal? Okay. Just to give an antenna, and then point out. Well, that was his way of communicating, and that suited him. And it may suit you also if you practice enough, but everybody has their own way of doing things, so. So some people are, in our school also, some students were good in algebra, some were good in geometry, some in trigonometry, some in history, some in geography. Is it not so? Everybody has a mind, which has a different kind of disposition. So that's how Bhagavan has done. So we have great historians, and we have great scientists, and we have great mathematicians, and the different talents are there. Everybody is given some talent. Somebody is a good painter, somebody is a good writer, somebody is a good, writes poems. So that is Ishvara's creation of variety. Swamiji, meaning this Swami, while answering the question about free will, mentioned that complete surrender of free will happens in prayer, but only when the prayer is sattvic. Mind has sattva, rajas and tamas. Sattvic is when the prayer is out of joy or out of gratitude, When prayer has no personal agenda, it is an expression of your joy, your gratitude, your devotion. That will be sattvic prayer. Nothing expected in return. We do have that state mind very rarely, a glimpse here and there. So he also explained tamasic and rajasic prayers. While tamasic prayer is wrong, tamasic prayer is to hurt somebody. Rajasic prayer is for satisfying, my self-gratification. And Rajasic prayer is needed for everyday life to function in a certain way in the society. An effort is made to achieve something. Prayer seems to give relief and hope. When even Shanti mantra fall in the Rajasic, nothing falls in any category. It is your mind that makes it in a certain category. It is not that a given prayer is Rajasic prayer. Shanti mantra is all prayers. And usually during that, reciting those mantras, we don't have any agenda. We just recite them in a prayerful mood. That is sattvic. In Shanti mantra, you is most likely to be sattvic. Sahana vavatu, sahano bhunaktu, etc. There are some mantras in which we also pray for something, but most mantras are for in the praise of Ishvara or in. So, no just is involved. But you can always make a prayer to fulfill your desire. That's not an offense. And many prayers are for fulfilling our specific desires, which is all right as long as there are desires. You wish that a day would come when I would pray without the agenda of fulfilling desire. But as long as all these desires are there, it's quite all right that you pray to fulfill your desire. All the astrologers tell you to perform prayers. It is for fulfilling desires. It's not an offense that I make a prayer for fulfilling desire. After all, who else will fulfill my desire than Ishvara? And so I pray to Ishvara. Gita chapter 18 verse 61. What is that? In the context of free will and destiny, could you please elaborate on this verse? I guess they expect me to remember verses by numbers also, is that so? Chapter 18 verse 61, let me see. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hruddeshe juntishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudhani maya. When Lord Krishna says Ishvara sarvabhutanam hruddeshe juntishtati, here Arjuna, Ishvara resides the heart of all the beings. Brahman sarvabhutani yantrarudhani maya, and he revolves all the beings as though they are riding on a machine. Meaning that Ishvara, that verse seems to say that it is Ishvara sitting in the heart with his maya, makes everybody go round and round. That's what Ishvara does. If Ishvara does everything, then is there a role for free will? And that's the question here. Is our will really free or is everything predestined? If Ishvara does everything, is it destiny? Ishvara sarvabhutana vruddeshe arjuna tishtati arjuna. Ishvara sarvabhutana vruddeshe tishtati. Ishvara resides in the heart of all the beings. Brahman sarvabhutani yantra arudhani maya. Like yantra arudhani. With Maya, he makes everybody revolve round and round. And that verse says Ishvara does everything, we have no choice. But then that is under certain conditions. There are those who have made themselves free from the influence of Maya, in which case they are not controlled by even Ishvara. We also are not controlled by Maya. When we, for example, have a commitment to doing what is right, what the Maya does is, it creates likes and dislikes, and therefore we have a tendency to do what we like. So when we do what we like, it's quite likely that we are controlled by Maya. But when you have a commitment to do what is right, then we are not controlled by Maya, we are controlled by free will. So we do have a free will to do what is right. We may fall for temptations and do what we like. In that case, we have surrendered our free will, or we have freedom to assert our free will by commitment to do what is right. Meaning that you control your own destiny. Therefore, you have the freedom to change your future, yes? If there is any question, please raise your hand so we can try to give you clarification. Next question, detachment from body. When one's body is deteriorating and heavily dependent on others or heavily dependent on equipment for a day-to-day existence, why is one still not ready to leave this world? How come we still want to hang on to this world even when the body is in so much pain? We are aware that death comes at its own time, but the individual's strong desire to prolong his life amid such physical or mental distress is not understandable. Very frank and very clear, very honest statement. Is it morally, spiritually wrong for the family to suggest to stop treatment and go into hospice? There cannot be general rule. Depends on every particular situation. We cannot make a general rule that you should stop treatment and go to hospital. Depends on the situation. But usually there is a law for life. And usually people do not want to let go of life. Although a time comes when the pain becomes unbearable and you wish that you want to leave, if that is so, then hospice, then the doctor can advise you whether it is desirable to continue pain relief treatment or what to do. But not morally or spiritually wrong for the family to suggest to stop treatment and go into hospice. What the family should do, or the individual should do, I guess sometimes they get a statement from the individual as to what to do in a given situation. I like ventilators and things like that. The individual may not be in a situation to say one thing or the other, At that time, if that person has said that when this situation comes, I do not want any life support equipment, then the family may do that. If that is not said, doctors will not allow you. Doctors will not allow you to remove the life support equipment until the last breath. That's their duty. And we have made a statement, a written statement, I guess. In fact, Puja Swami made a statement and then people didn't allow that, The devotees. So that is a different matter. But we can say to them that I do not want life support equipment. If that's what you think you like to do, that has to be said in writing, I think, when you are quite conscious. Otherwise, family cannot decide to pull. Doctors have to decide. I believe family cannot decide. While negating the reality of bandha avastha and moksha avastha, Shankaracharya asks, which is first and which is second? There he says that reality is not tenable as bandha, and bandha is anadi, and still it is antavat. But Advaita is also a state. Mula Ajnanam is also anadi and yet subject to end. How do we reconcile this? Generally, what does not have a beginning also does not have an end. But then darkness is an exception. Darkness also doesn't have a beginning. When did darkness begin in this cave? But when you bring a lamp, darkness is anadi, but antavat. So also ajnanam, ignorance, is comparable to darkness. Is anadi, ignorance has no beginning. But when the light of knowledge comes, it is despair. And so, here, Karthik, what is the question? I don't see him here. Okay. But ignorance, like darkness, has no beginning and has an end when the light of knowledge comes. Bandha, the bondage, is a product of ignorance. Therefore, bondage also doesn't have a beginning, but bondage ends when the moksha comes as a result of knowledge. Second, can you please clarify the three purushas, Kshara, Akshara and Uttama Purusha? So, Lord Krishna says there in 15th chapter, Dvavimo Purusho loke Kshascha Aksharevacha Ksharas Sarvani Bhutani Kutastho Kshara Uchyate Uttamah Purushastvanyah Paramatme Tudahritah Yo Lokatrayamavishya Bhivartyavya Ishvarah. So the three purushas we are discussing, Dvavimo Purusho loke Ksharascha Akshara evacha. Lord Krishna says in this world there are two purushas, Kshara Purusha and Akshara Purusha. Karya and Karana. So Ksharascha Akshara, Ksharas Sarvani Bhutani, all the beings are called Kshara, which are immutable or perishable. And the cause which is Maya, or Avyakta, unmanifest, is the cause Akshara Purusha. So Kshara Purusha and Akshara Purusha both, according to Bhashyakara, are in the realm of samsara. Uttamah Purushastvanya Paramatma Ityudahrataha. The Uttama Purusha is Anya, other than these two, and it's called Paramatma. There is the truth of the witness. Kshara Purusha, Akshara Purusha, both of them fall in the category of Anatma. Where Kshara is Karya, Akshara is Karana. Uttama Purushastvanya. Uttama Purusha is Anya, different. He is consciousness, his witness. Kshara and Akshara both are in the category of the unconscious. Uttama Purusha is the self of the consciousness. Is that clear? 1 minute.
Swamiji, Namaste. You mentioned about Anatma and the Uttama Purusha. So how the context is in this case?
Context. Then Lord Krishna wants to say that in this world, Anatma and Atma. Anatma is looked upon as the effect and cause, Karya, Karana. Karya is called Akshara Purusha, Karana is called Akshara Purusha, there is Anatma, and Atma is Anya in as much as Atma is the witness. The unconscious, Atma is conscious. And so, Uttamah Purushastu Anya, Paramatma iti Udaha is called Paramatma or Purushottama. Kshara Purusha, Akshara Purusha, they include all Anatma, the Karya Karana. And second category is Atma, that is the Param Purusha, Purushottama. One second.
Karthik, you are there.
Sorry, Swamiji, for...
That's all, go ahead.
Yeah. So for this one, this word Purusha normally is used for a conscious being, right? So like Kshara Purusha, like somewhere else, for example, the Prakriti is used. So here, why is the word Purusha is used? That's what I was, I would like to kind of know a little bit more there.
What Lord Krishna means is what is Ishvara. Unconscious or conscious, they are the attributes of Upadhi. The medium through which Ishvara or consciousness manifests is Kshara and Akshara and Purushottama. So when the Lord or Ishvara manifests through these names and forms, called Kshara Purusha because it is perishable, changing, but manifests to their cause, which is called Maya, is called Akshara because it is imperishable, not changeless, but imperishable. Changing and perishable, changing and imperishable, and changeless and imperishable. Uttamah Purusha. So thus, Purusha means that what is the expression of Purusha or consciousness. Even what we call unconscious also is manifestation of consciousness, asti bhati priyam. And so, therefore both all are called Purusha because they are all manifestation of Purusha means consciousness or asti bhati priyam. So unconscious also asti bhati priyam plus name and form. The cause is also asti bhati priyam with unmanifest. And Paramatma asti bhati priyam without an upadhi.
Thank you, Swamiji. Swamiji, regarding the previous question, sorry, I had to step out at that time we were explaining. I was listening in the this thing.
Go ahead.
So the question is like, say in the 13th chapter, in the second verse, where Swami Shankaracharya is explaining, in one of the arguments, he was saying like, whether this moksha and bandha, are they avasthas? So he was refuting that. So the argument given is, bandha avastha, if it were to be there, and then, so for Atma, if bandha avastha is there first and then the moksha avastha, so then bandha avastha, we have to say it is anadi, but it will end when the moksha avastha begins. Similarly, the moksha avastha begins when the bandha, so it is adi, but ananta. Whereas the other one is like anadi and antavad. So he was saying that is not tenable. And elsewhere in the Advaita, we also say ajnana is anadi. So how do I reconcile the two? That was the question.
Right, moksha is not a happening. If moksha is a happening, then it will have a beginning. Moksha is an existing fact. So moksha is manifestation of what is rather than creation of what is not. When sun is covered by clouds, the sun is still existent but not evident. When the cloud goes away, sun becomes manifest or evident. So here, sun is not created, it has just become manifest. So also moksha is the nature of Atma, and ignorance or bandha as though veils that moksha. When that veil or cloud is removed, then moksha, which was already a fact, just becomes evident. So moksha is not created. If it is created, it will come to an end also. Moksha is a fact, like sun is shining always. When the cloud is there, even though sun is shining, we don't experience that light. When the cloud moves away, we experience the light. That doesn't mean sun has become manifest. Sun is not created. And similarly also, Atma is always mukta. And when the cloud of ignorance goes away, the self which is ever liberated just becomes manifest. So no change has happened in the self. If bondage was real, Atma was really bound, then the moksha also would be real. Then moksha would be happening. In that case, it is an effect. In that case, it will be perishable, because whatever bound the Atma may come back. But even when we feel the Atma is bound, I am not bound. Bondage is a notion, therefore removal of bondage is the removal of notion of bondage. And appearance of moksha is appearance of an existing moksha, which is thought to be not there. Therefore, there is no beginning of moksha. And ignorance is only in the form of notion, so there is removal of notion. So does that answer your question, or what is the...
So is it like the ignorance is also not there, really speaking, but it appears to be there? It's like...
Ignorance is there, and bondage is there. Whatever reality is, mithya reality is, and then therefore ignorance gets dispelled in light of knowledge. So bondage also gets dispelled in light of knowledge. And moksha, which was always there but veiled by this, becomes manifest. So ignorance does get destroyed, but moksha does not get created. Ignorance gets destroyed, not to come back again. If moksha was created, it will also be perishable. But now moksha is always there, And therefore notion that I am bound goes away. Therefore moksha is eternal, impairing.
Thank you, sir.
Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 26. God only asks for leaves, flowers, fruits and water. Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, yome bhaktya prayachati. Then, why do you offer many other items, including dairy products to gods or puja and prasad? Today we know beyond any doubt that cows, which I consider sacred being and a deity in Hinduism, are being killed in the dairy industry for keeping the dairy affordable. If you do not know that there is a 5-minute summary of dairy, if you do not know, then there is a 5-minute summary, the dairy process for information, etc. If you already know this, then why not adopt veganism in the ashram or gurukulam? What are the reasons preventing that? The Guru Vayurappan temple is in Marlborough, New Jersey. Has already proven that a vegan diet does not drive away devotees. Their following is stronger than ever. I hope you will show the integrity and courtesy to at least acknowledge and reply to my question. I couldn't get the name, and therefore, Swami, you can skip this question, this was told to me. I hope you will show the integrity and courtesy to at least acknowledge and reply to my question. I will greatly appreciate your reasoning to continue to use dairy or any other response via email. It will be even better if you can discuss this live in the management of your organization. Ready to donate in appreciation of your time. Wow.
So here, when I confronted, he said the last paragraph was not for you, it was for Sudatma ji. I told him it's not appropriate to write like that.
Yeah. This question has come up again. Earlier also, the torture. Now the thing is that it is not necessary that cow has to be tortured in the process of milking the cow. That the dairy industry does it is a different thing, but it is not that just because you use cow milk. Now there is a Lakshmi cow sanctuary and the milk of that is used by what is it, our Sringeri.
In the Sringeri temple, there is Goshala. That milk is being used in Guruvayur temple. Lakshmi cow sanctuary don't have any milking cow.
Okay, that Lakshmi sanctuary. Yeah, okay. Well, we offer, because traditionally milk is one of the important materials that we offer to Lord Shiva for bathing. And therefore we continue that practice of bathing the Lord with dairy products. Because that was the main, in the olden days, that cow was the center of our culture. And so most of the dairy products were offered, even the homa, or to the Lord in the Abhisheka. And that is why we have continued that practice. And we try to get what they call the organic milk and stuff like that. Although organic may not mean that the cows are not tortured. But there is either we have to stop offering milk to the Lord, because we are dependent upon the supply of milk for offering it to the Lord. And so we continue to do that and offer organic milk. That's the best we can do with available resources. We have no intention of supporting the violence of the cows, but we do the minimum that is necessary in order to do our puja, that's all. I have two questions. One is chapter 9, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam, on verses 4 and 5. Second is chapter 18, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. Question 1. In verse 4 of chapter 9, Lord Krishna says, Machthani sarabhutani nachaham teshvavasthitah. Very next verse says, Nacha machthani bhutani. I'm trying to understand this seeming contradiction. Just to give you an example, a standard example of rope snake. What is snake is what we call superimposition upon the rope. Meaning snake is an appearance. What is rope? Rope appears as a snake because of certain conditions. Therefore, a viewer thinks that there is a real snake until the knowledge comes that this is rope. So also Lord Krishna says that rope is called adhishthanam and snake is called adhyaropa, superimposition. Lord Krishna says, I am the adhishthanam, the substratum of the universe of names and forms, and universe is like snake, meaning that superimposition upon me. Meaning that I am the adhishthanam, the satyam, and the world of names and form, superimposition or mithya. The Rajju is called Satyam, Sarpa is called Mithya. So also the Ishvara or Bhagavan, that is substratum, is Satyam, and the universe of names and forms is Mithya, superimposition. Basically to help us understand the reality of the world that we are confronting. The reason why this is said is, habitually we take this world to be real. It is tangible is one thing and real is another thing. Yes, everything is tangible, but what is real is that which cannot be negated, which is what it shows to be, and mainly the world creates in us an appearance of being a source of happiness, pleasure and pain. And therefore, our interaction with the world causes pleasure and pain, causes raga and dvesha. And therefore, our all vyavahara is in the realm of raga dveshas or attachment and aversion, which have arisen on account of taking the world to be real. If something is known as mithya, like this, bunch of grapes, if you know the reality of that it is just an appearance of grapes and not a reality, then there will be no raga or dvesha. Because there is no attraction. Only if the grapes are real and they attract me. And when I see them in Swamiji's hands, then I can plan that when Swamiji leaves this place, then I'll have my hands on this. Meaning that these grapes will have some reaction in me when I look upon them as real grapes. If I know them as an appearance made of rubber or plastic or whatever they're made of, I have neither attachment for this, nor I don't hate this, nor am I attached to that. So knowing mithya as mithya keeps my mind free from raga and dvesha, attachment and aversion, free from all reactions, free from the happiness and unhappiness. harsha and shoka. So when I know these grapes, the reality of grapes, for what it is, then my relationship will be one of what we call vairagya. I will neither have raga or nor dvesha for this. Similarly also, if we realize that the world also is mithya. Mithya does not mean it is not there. No, world is there. But it is not real. I mean, what is real is that which cannot be negated. These grapes are negated when I examine them and realize they are not real grapes. So when I realize, when I actually examine the reality of the world, I find that names and forms are also perishable, constantly changing, and therefore they have no inherent capacity to make me happy or unhappy. If I understand the reality of world of names and forms, then I realize that the world will have no ability to make me happy or unhappy. I can neither be elated nor depressed. They will not cause raga or dvesha. My relations with the world will be a healthy relationship, devoid of attachment and aversion. They will be objective. In the word of the Puja Swamiji, if I understand the world for what it is, that it is not real mithya, it is mithya that it is an objective relationship. Objective means devoid of raga and dvesha. A healthy relationship. I love everything. A healthy relationship is, I love the world for what it is, because there is no expectation for it to be different from what it is. I don't expect anything. When I don't expect anything, then I am objective. I am composed. So this is what Lord Krishna wants us to understand. Machthani sarabhutani nachaham teshu avasthitah, meaning that this creation of names and forms is a superimposition, like rope snake. So rope snares to us that the snake is a superimposition upon me. It is in me because snake is because the rope is. If rope is not, the snake cannot be. At the same time, so if you, from standpoint of snake, we say that snake is mithya, is superimposition upon the rope. But when you ask the rope, hey, what's the name? Where is the snake? He says there is no snake. Understand, from the standpoint of rope, there is no snake. Do you follow? From the standpoint of rope, from the standpoint of snake, we say that snake is a superimposition. But from the standpoint of rope, so what snake you are talking about? I have never seen it. Because there is no snake in the rope. This, if you follow, please understand this. If you don't, seek clarification. But this is an important thing to understand. The rope says, the snake is in me. Machthani sarabhutani. Somebody looks upon that as a snake. Somebody looks upon it as a mala. Somebody looks upon it as a danda. The different, the rope, if it's not known correctly, then somebody may think it's a snake. Somebody thinks that it's a garland. Somebody thinks that it's a streak in the, a crack in the earth. So there's a streak of water. Somebody says it's a stick. Meaning that there can be different views or superimpositions or notions about the rope from indifferent people. That's the world. That's the world of names and forms, superimposed upon the rope. So rope says all of these are in me, I am not in them, meaning they're all superimposed upon me. I don't depend upon them for my existence, and therefore they are not in me at all. So if you see me, then all these fellows will disappear. If you know me as rope, all snake and other things will all disappear. They're not there. So also Lord Krishna says, the world of names and forms is in me. I am not in them. meaning that the names and forms are superimposed upon me. So you come back to our exercise of this flower. The flower has 5 aspects. One is, flower has a name, rose, has a form corresponding to the name. It is dear because it is joy, object of pleasure. It is a name, form. It is asti. It shines in my consciousness, bhati. It is dear to me or it is dear to itself, priyam. Asti, bhati, priyam, nama, rupa. 5 aspects of this flower. You have heard this a million times at least, so everybody knows this. And this is, that equation applies to every name and form. Name and form is different. Asti, bhati, priyam is the most common denominator, right? So what is the relationship between Asti, Bhati, Priyam and Nama Rupa? This is also name and form Asti, Bhati, Priyam. This also is name and form Asti, Bhati, Priyam. This also is name and form Asti, Bhati, Priyam. So what is the relationship between Asti, Bhati, Priyam and Nama Rupa? What's the relationship? Mithya. What is mithya? Nama Rupa is mithya, superimposition. Asti Bhati Priyam is satyam, meaning that it cannot be negated. It is reality of this, and names and forms are incidental. Meaning that name and form can change. Tomorrow this flower will look different. After 15 days it will still different. In some time it will completely get perished. But Asti, Bhati, Priyam, something that cannot be negated. Thus in every object there are 2 aspects. Asti, Bhati, Priyam, which is non-negatable, always there, Satyam, and name and form which is changing, incidental. It is there today, may not be there tomorrow. It is coming and going, incidental, called mithya. Even in this pot, the clay is satyam, and the name and form of the pot are incidental, mithya, coming and going. So this Lord Krishna says, I am Asti Bhati Priyam, and the world is name and form. Masthani Sarabhutani, all the beings are in me. They are because I give them Asti, Astitva. I give them, the existence. I give them the consciousness. Satta, Spurti is what I provide them. And I don't depend upon them, they depend upon me. In fact, here, Arjuna, if you look at me, there is no name and form. All that is this, Asti Bhati Priyam, Satchitananda. So that is what is meant here. I am trying to understand this seeming contradiction. For example, the clay says, the pot is in me. Pot is because of me. And it says, hey, there is no pot in me. You follow what I'm... The clay says, the pot is because of me. The pot cannot be if I am not there. But if you look at me, there is no pot in me. Nachamachthani bhutani. All pots and pans are in me. If you look at me from the standpoint of pots and pans, if you look at me from the standpoint of clay, there is no pot and pan. Is it clear? So, Matsani Sarabhutani, clay says that all pots and pans are in me. Nachamastani Bhutani, really looking at it as clay, there are no pots and pans. Is it clear or?
Swamiji, even though Namarupa is Michya, but that is part of Satyam. So,
Yes.
so even though Anatma, we say Anatma, but it is a part of Atma.
Namarupa is an Atma, and he is Atma. Asti Bhadi Priyam is Atma,
Right.
Namarupa is an Atma.
Correct. But if you take part is, we are giving a name, but that is part of the clay. What I mean to say, like we distinguish Atma, Anatma, but Anatma is Atma.
Anatma is because of Atma.
Yes.
Atma is not because of Anatma. Anatma is because of Atma. Atma alone appears as Anatma. Clay alone appears as part. Atma alone appears as Anatma. In ultimate analysis, there is nothing but Atma, so there is no Anatma.
Correct. Yes.
Nachamasthanaya Buddha.
Yes. Thank you.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. In the verse 66, chapter 18, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Lord Krishna says, Hantva sarvapapebhya mokshayishyami ma shuchah. I understand that only knowledge can liberate. So my understanding of this verse, Lord Krishna is saying, I am that consciousness, so take refuge in me, the consciousness, which is the same as you. See, refuge means no. Here, so Mamayakam Sharanam Vraja, take refuge in me, meaning that know me as your own self. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Here, Arjuna, take refuge in me means that may you know me as yourself. Then I will liberate you, meaning you will liberate from all the papa. Because all papa, if you want to accept it, are committed by this individual who is identified as name and form. When I realize that what I am is consciousness, then I am no more identified as name and form, and therefore what was done by ego with identification, I have nothing to do with that. In that sense, now knowledge liberates me from notion of papa. Notion of kartrutva, bhoktrutva. And that's where papa punya is there. When I'm not karta or bhokta, there is no papa or punya. So, take refuge in me means that may you know me as your own self. Here the person who has asked the question suggests that Swami taking refuge in Bhagavan, does it mean that it means Tivra Bhakti, that I am I'm a Tivra Mumukshu or Tivra Bhakta, in fact, take refuge in me as a Bhakta. So can this verse be interpreted as Bhakti? It can be. Taking refuge in Lord, first stage is Bhakti, refuge in Him, offering our ego. Second stage is knowledge, recognizing that there is no duality between Ishvara. So when duality is there, I am Bhagavan's Bhakta. When my ego is slowly and slowly, it becomes softened. And ultimately by knowledge, it is recognized as non-existent. So yes, in Bhagavad Gita, bhakti is the first step, leading to jnanam, the second step. Does that clarify your question? From Ram and Uma, Knoxville, Tennessee. Significance of upasana. Which upasana would you recommend? Upasana means mental worship. So all these basically puja, archana and all of these that we do, they all fall in the category of upasana. Ideally upasana means mental worship, but then all the pujas, archanas, etc. we do can be classified upasana. In upasana there is the bhakta and there is the ishta devata, ishta devata. So when we do this worship of Lord Dakshinamurti, so he is our ishta devata. But everybody may have different ishta devata, maybe Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesha. The Ishtadeva. So meditation upon Ishtadevata is upasana. Upasana means mental worship. So mentally worshipping your Ishtadevata is called upasana. It is meditation. Meditation involving the worship of the Devata. Couple of famous quotes. Mohan Bhagavad ji said, a true sevak shouldn't have ahankara. Second, when the right hand gives, left hand should know. So these are famous quotes. Now, but while doing seva anywhere, could it be for Chinmaya Mission Aim for Seva or ABG, be it anniversary, New Year or any other program, initially everything looks good in line with some of the quotes shared above, but slowly the hubris gets built and gives room to the thoughts like, only because of me this is happening. How better I am compared to that person or that set of people. He or she is an idiot, that I can't stand him or her, so please don't make me work with that person. He or she did that. They shouldn't have done that. That person is if that person is in my team, I won't join volunteering. This happens to me, I mean, a very honest person is, but I think we have to learn to keep our ragadveshas in control when we are working in a team. That is called teamwork when we gracefully accept other people, including the limitations of other people, even blemishes of other people. That's a team. And there are different people have different talents, different dispositions. And so to brand somebody as such and such, it does not help the team spirit. In team, we gracefully accept other people as they are. With everybody has virtues and limitations. Everybody has something to offer. At the same time, some baggage everybody brings. Nobody is free from emotional baggage. And so when you get the whole package. I mean, that's why I say when you get married, you get the whole package, understand? Although you may have seen one side of the person, the whole person comes to you. You may come to know as you live together slowly, wow, I didn't expect that. But that's what it is. And so you cannot get part, you get the whole. And so also, when you have somebody in your team, that's the whole person. And everybody brings some emotional baggage with them. And therefore we have to accept that reality and be as generous or charitable as possible. Charitable with reference to gracefully accepting their limitations. That's called kshama. Pujya Swami says that kshama means accommodation. Every relationship requires accommodation. Closer the relationship is, more the need of accommodation. But any relationship requires accommodation. You have to accommodate me. After all, you are relating to me right now. Swami, you don't talk. You come to my question. Come on now. You are going too long for this. So, you accommodate the Swami. And it's vice versa, of course. But the thing is, therefore, when we are working in a team, accommodate other team members, which means that recognize that they have their limitations, they have their views, they have their assertions, they have their ego, and each one of us has this ego, meaning a need to feel accepted, the need to feel respected. That is our basic need. You can call it ego or whatever you want to call it. But when Mohan Bhagavad Ji says a sevak should not have ahankara, means a sevak should be as non-demanding as possible. So, you become a giver, a non-demanding giver. That's an ideal situation, which is what Pujya Swami mean by be a contributor. A consumer is a demanding person, a contributor is a giving person. Nobody can be a pure contributor. But we try to be as much as possible. So when you work in the team, you have to be accommodating with reference to other members of the team. You can't brand them as such and such idiot and so forth and dismiss them. That is not right. In our mind, we cannot dismiss them, respect them. Respect everybody for what he or she is. But everybody brings something on the table, and everybody has certain needs also. We have to recognize both, respect both, and then alone teamwork will. Otherwise, outwardly I am smiling and inwardly and a lot of things are going on, and that doesn't help me, it doesn't help the team. So I should put as few conditions as possible. I will not do this unless that is happening. So you have put a lot of conditions. For my doing something, I will exclude many things or I will be excluded. And so try to become as non-demanding and as giving as you can when it comes to volunteering. Of course, nobody is totally non-demanding, nobody is totally giving, so we cannot expect totality from ourselves, but we try to be as much as we can. How to do seva without giving room for the egoistic thoughts? Doing things without a feeling that I am doing. Nothing wrong in the feeling I am doing. That is all right. The thing is, I always want a reward for what I do. This is a human need. That Lord Krishna says, Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadashana. They do the best that you can do without expectation or reward. That is Lord Krishna's teaching. And we try to live up to this as much as we can, and we grow. To have no expectation requires tremendous growth. Because I will have no expectation only when I have inner satisfaction, which I don't have. Everybody has inner dissatisfaction in one degree or the other. To that extent, we expect or we demand. So respect ourselves and try to keep that expectation within the control, or the demands within the control. And let this expectation or demand not become an issue in working with others. So gracefully accept the limitation of others and have the spirit of being helpful as much as we can. That is the spirit of seva, working in a team. If you are alone, there is no big problem, less problem. But when you're working in team, and Indians have a problem in working with, that's what is recognized in the world, that Indians have a problem because they are very egoistic people. That's what the Westerners say. Indians are egoistic people, therefore there is a teamwork. No, Russians work in team, people work in team. But Indians have a hard time working in team because Indians are egoistic people. This is a general thing. That doesn't mean that includes all of you, but then thing is that we have tried to, when you work in team, you have the benefit, of the contribution of all the members of team. Then it requires an accommodation also. We accommodate the virtues and limitations of others. And so it's a great training and a great growth process. We never lose by accommodating others. We never lose by being more generous. We always gain spiritually. And so the seva can become a spiritual practice when you have these right values and attitudes. How can you turn this seva into a personal growth? By these right values and attitudes. Can we see if we are really growing? Kind of self-check, confronting of what you are advising us. Yes, I am growing when I become more accommodative, more accepting, more comfortable with myself and with others. So growth can be measured by my comfort with myself, which will also bring about a comfort with others. And more growth means less raga-dveshas. So all these seva activities are meant to help us grow out of raga-dveshas and not assert raga-dvesha, although that happens. But still the growth is in terms of freedom, and freedom from raga-dvesha, that's the growth. Meaning how comfortable I am, how with myself and with others. Sometimes, as you sow, so you reap. May encourage us to do some good things in life, but this expectation is not the right thinking for seva, isn't it? Surut is the one who does without expecting anything. Even though this makes us do good things, does it cleanse our antahkarana of raga-dveshas, or does it get cleansed only if we do it as a surut, which we are not all the times? Don't be too hard on yourself also. Do the best that you can do. The fact that you are doing seva itself is a good thing. And that also challenges us. So, to what extent we can bring out our attitudes and values, this seva challenges us, and therefore we learn more about ourselves and we work on ourselves. So, we don't expect to grow overnight, but seva is an excellent opportunity to grow because we are conscious of our attitudes and we can see to what extent we can maintain that sameness of the mind, maintain freedom from reaction. mean that I can accommodate others, I can be more large-hearted, more accommodative. Few years back, when we aimed for Seva Philadelphia team, sought your blessings, your advice helped us perform all the tasks with utmost sincerity and commitment. The outcome was a kind of happiness we felt for a brief period at the end of the event was inexplicable and never experienced until then or after. It may not be bliss, but maybe moda or pramoda. We saw a purpose to life through seva. But with passage of time, there were deviations from adherence to those advices from Swamiji, and it is nearly forgotten. Nowadays, seva is no longer that present, and this too is being riddled with the regular issues of mundane life, personal, interpersonal comments and opinions and comparisons with other cities seems to affect our seva. Meeting the children in a Chatralaya too didn't help much to bring back the old commitment or motivation. In this scenario, can Swamiji please advise how we should go about doing this seva? Just the aim for seva remains the motivating factor of everyone to perform the seva, and it slowly becomes a movement. It is true that even whenever we do any seva, also when you do, there is going to be our individual self involved, our ego involved, meaning that our expectations, our complexes, our ragadveshas are going to be involved because I am a bundle of all of that. And so, all we can do is, while we are doing seva, we keep observing our mind and see what kind of feelings are arising in the mind. Do I feel proud? Do I feel there? The feelings arise in the mind. Sometimes we feel proud, sometimes we feel depressed, sometimes we feel... So observe those feelings and later on try to understand why these feelings arose. We have some expectation. Basically, we all of us have some expectation of the other, of either expectation of encouragement, expectation of appreciation, expectation of recognition, These expectations are there in all of us in one degree or the other. And that is, these expectations, any expectation is a cause for unhappiness. But we are a bunch of expectations. And since I am not too happy with myself, or I do not approve myself totally, therefore, I am in need for being approved by others. So when you appreciate me, when you praise me, I feel accepted, I feel approved, I feel happy. When you criticize me, I feel the opposite of that, and I feel disappointed with myself. Basically, I always have to deal with myself. Although the vyavahara is going on outside, and people tell me this, that and so forth, ultimately I have to confront myself. And if any vyavahara creates in me a sense of self-comfort or self-acceptance, I am happy. If any vyavahara creates in me self-non-acceptance, self-discomfort, I am unhappy. And so observe this, recognize this. This is universal. Every human being has this. And so when we work with the people, there are people take out their own, pressures and stresses out when they make comments in their vyavahara, in their behavior, in their body language and stuff like that. Their feelings will come out, which is human. And so we have to be prepared for this kind of things when we work with other people, and try to be as large-hearted as we can. I don't say that you expect too much from yourself, but then we can look upon this as a training ground of becoming as large-hearted as we can, because various peoples are involved when we work with others, and people will comment, people will express their opinion. That's all that is going to happen. We wish it doesn't happen, but it does. And it hurts also, no doubt about that, because we like to be respected, we like to be accepted, we like to be loved basically. So when somebody respects me, I feel loved. Somebody criticizes me, I feel not loved. So being loved is a basic need that each one of us has. We interpret it ourselves. Whether I'm loved or not is my interpretation. But usually when people appreciate me, they praise me, I feel I'm loved. And the opposite, I feel that I'm not loved. And everybody is vulnerable. Everybody has a need of that love in some degree or the other. And so what we can do best is try to do with others what we want them to do with us. When we work with people, interaction, Atmana pratikulane anyesham na samacharet. May you please not do with others what you do not want them to do to you, and may you reach out to others with the way you want them to reach out to you. This is the basic need of every human being. We all have expectations from others. We expect others to love us, respect us, accept us. That is the basic expectation we have, each one of us has. And just as I have expectation of you, I know that you also have expectation of me. And therefore, as best as possible, I try to fulfill your expectation. There are limits to what I can do, but still, that is the best I can give. What is the contributor is, try to fill the expectation of others as much as you can, which will require very often that you let go your own expectation. We may not be able to fulfill other people's expectation in many cases unless we let go of our expectation. So that is the sacrifice you want to call, that is required. And with that, we always benefit, we never lose. By letting go, we never lose, we always grow. It is difficult. Difficult to let go of my expectation, let go of what is dear to me, but that I certainly benefit, I grow out of that process. And so look out for that. Can Swamiji please advise how we should go about doing this seva? Just to aim for seva remains the motivating factor for everyone to perform the seva, and it slowly becomes a movement. This is the way, as I said, try to do to others what you expect them to do to you, and that's how we try to cultivate the relationship this way of a harmony. Then more the harmony is, better the teamwork is, and more the satisfaction is from what you do. Even though all we do is raise funds, how can we remain focused on the impact of our work without letting the donation dollars take precedence? When we meet people or interact with them, except treat someone a VIP because he or she is a big-time donor, and unaware sometimes look down at the people who donate less. And that's the human nature. But it's good. We try to be respectful and accepting everything. And so Mahatma Gandhi, somebody gave one anna or something like that. He took that from old lady, put it right here. Meaning that respect. And respect the person. Basically, if we respect the person, then we'll respect what they do. If we respect our ego, respect our, then of course what they do to us or for us becomes important. But if we respect the people, then the fact that they are willing to donate, that they care for us, becomes important to us. And it's not easy, but that should be our attempt. It's not easy. We are accustomed to always honoring people who give us more, and ye to kuch deta nahi hai. Swami ji eats every day and doesn't give anything, things like that, So human mind is going to take over and measure people by their contribution. That we find everywhere and we can't blame, but let's try to be as free. We are not feeding them, the Dakshinamurti is feeding them, etc., etc. And so I don't take it upon myself, the ego, that I'm doing this or I'm giving them. And that the donation also comes ultimately. But the thing is, more respectful I am, more Dakshinamurti will note. And more he will give. That is again should not be a calculation there, but then ultimately, please Dakshinamurti, to please him, we please everybody. We respect. So respect everybody. In that process, we are respecting Lord Dakshinamurti. And therefore, as I said, as best as we can, respect everybody, however they are. One looks like there's hippie, one looks somebody else, then our mind right away rejects certain things which we don't like. Note that tendency and try to stay away from that. All of us in our lives, we ourselves are going through some turmoil or the other. When you truly feel low in life, heart-stricken as nothing goes by plan, there is no motivation for seva. In such scenarios, how to bring the heart and mind to this noble cause? Or should we realize that it is time for us to quit and move on and hand over reins to someone else? Or continue to do the seva and consider everything is an opportunity by Ishvara for us to realize and change. what you said at the end, that we realize that it is time for us. Continue to do the seva and consider everything as an opportunity by Ishvara, because hopefully seva will give you some relief from the. There are of course personal things happening to us, and maybe seva is an outlet, for our pain or our, we can forget the pain arising from our personal things, if we focus our mind on seva. So I think seva is more an opportunity to distance ourselves with the life for a while. And if we give up the seva, we'll be more, identified and more attached to that. So it is true that we can never be totally objective. We cannot totally be free from the influence that the events in our life cause to us. We will be influenced by them. But at least seva will give opportunity to try to create the distance with the personal life. And so better to continue seva in those difficult situations rather than give up the seva. Because seva can help us to create the distance with our personal life. And that way become free from that impact of all those events. So don't give up seva. I have finished my course. We had a study group there in New Jersey, and they used to have a long list of questions, which we occurred during the discussion in the Gita Home Study and so forth. So, and then I said, look, I now passed I completed my test because I answered all the questions without taking any option, In India, I said, you fellows are asking me 27 questions and without any option. Swami, please answer any 15 out of them. No. All questions are to be answered, So this is a tough exam, but we answered all the questions. Any more questions arise in your mind? Yeah.
Someone from the group has asked a question. Swamiji might already answered it.
Please speak in the microphone.
I'm just reading it out as
Yeah.
mentioned. Can you please differentiate between self-knowledge and self-realization? Is it possible to realize self or acquire the self-knowledge without means of Shraddha, Bhakti and Sadhana? Vedanta can be experienced when you are detached from this material world and only when you are free from all desires. No one can validate the Vedas because they are all self-validated. But
Lots of things involved here. So one by one, you read all different things. So please read one thing at a time, then we can answer you. Start from the beginning.
Okay. Can you please differentiate between self-knowledge and self-realization?
No, they are the same things.
Okay. Is it possible to realize self or acquire self-knowledge without the means of Shraddha, Bhakti and Sadhana?
No.
Okay.
It's like climbing, without a ladder.
I think the next question is Vedanta can be experienced only when you are detached from this material world and only when you are free from all desires. I think this looks like more like a statement. No one can validate the Vedas because they are
It's called vairagya.
Okay.
When your mind is free from desires or expectation, that's the vairagya, and that is what is required. That's called being objective, and that is required for pursuit of knowledge.
I think the question still goes further, and but to experience that knowledge, one should do tapasya, which was followed by our great rishis. They are all
Tapasya is in form of samadhi, shatka, sampatti.
Okay.
Shama, dhamma, and when you try to cultivate them, your life will become tapasya.
Okay.
Even if you don't go to forest, But then when you try to cultivate shama, freedom of ragadveshas, dhamma, self-control, wherever you are, your life will become tapasya.
There's one last part of that the post. They are also mortals without control over their body and mind. How could they experience the divine knowledge and transmit it to the mankind? Does this mean paroksha and aparoksha jnanam?
Are they talking about the rishis?
Yeah, I think like that's what it looks like.
Yeah, the rishis are also mortal beings, but then that as we understand about them, that they were the men of great self-control, tapasya, penance, and therefore had a great value for what it is that they're working for. So they totally sacrificed their comfort and their needs and dedicated themselves to tapasya, means pursuit of their goal. So that kind of dedication is required to achieve anything. Even in the worldly life also, to achieve anything worthwhile, you will require total dedication. Then what to talk of this? That he will.
Couple of questions here in this row. Already leave for lunch. We are past the lunch time. Take the questions or take
See if you can completely, quickly finish them. Even difficult to assemble people after lunch,
Oh, the questions are there. I can give it to Swamiji.
Want to do it, Swamiji?
Yes.
In the meantime, I'll give you my phone. Swamiji, please.
Question about titiksha or endurance. If one is praying for their health conditions or other situations in life to change, become conducive to enable them to focus on the pursuit of knowledge, is that act of praying for things to change opposed to titiksha? Prayer is not opposed. Titiksha means forbearance, to put up with pain, etc., at the level of body mainly. That is titiksha, and you can still pray for overcoming that physical, difficulties. So while experiencing them, you can always pray to the Lord, please release me from this. Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, my understanding is, Sri Adi Shankaracharya mentions Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga cannot be pursued simultaneously. If this understanding is correct, then, we have Tivra Ichcha for pursuit of this knowledge. We are currently learning to practice Karma Yoga. So if one has to mature in Karma Yoga before pursuing Jnana Yoga, does it mean we cannot take up study of Vedanta now until we mature in Karma Yoga? No. You can pursue both, because there is a time when our mind is contemplative, your mind is quiet, you can certainly pursue, listen to the lecture. So you can combine both of them. When you require to perform your duties, Karma Yoga, then when you have time, pursue the knowledge in terms of Shravanam, Mananam, no problem. How many Gitas, Adhyaya you have to read daily? How to remember Gita's Adhyaya easily? What is the best time to read Gita? Gita Press Gorakhpur, for which Gita used to give a little program, that you can complete the whole Gita in 1 week. 700 verses, like 100 verses every day. So, if you make a practice of reading those verses, so you can complete the whole thing in 1 week. So that way, you will have the satisfaction of reading Gita every day. How to remember Gita Adhyaya? My suggestion is that you take 2 or 3 verses at a time, not the whole chapter. And take 3 verses. Dhanakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samveda, Yutsa, Mamaka, Pandava, Seva, Kimakura Sanjaya, Sanjaya Uvacha. So, like that you take 1 verse and repeat 5 times. Next day take 2nd verse. This first verse 5 times, 2nd verse 10 times. 3rd day, 3rd verse. 5 times, 10 times, 15 times. So like that, you continue the earlier verse also and add new verses up to, your limit. If you allow half an hour, then do that. So do this, if you do this every day, we will remember things. And ultimately when you feel that you have memorized the given verse, remember, just chant it once every day and go on with the new verses. But don't give up that I now memorized, so even if you memorize, don't give up the verse. At least recite it once every day. If you have half an hour, then take 5 verses at a time. Today chant 5 times each verse. And then when you remember them, take next 5 verses. Repeat these 5 verses 3 times, that one 10 times, something like that. So keep adding. Say if you 15 minutes, then do that. 15 minutes, half an hour, what time you have. But take bite by bite. Take all the bite size, they say, So people read the whole Adhyaya. Every day, they have been reading Vishnu Sahasranama for million years, can't remember anything. And that were one line at a time, 1 verse at a time. Take the whole Vishnu Sahasranama, and then still you keep on reading every day of the book. Kya baat hai? But you have to make a conscientious effort to remember things. It won't happen automatically. So, idea is take 1 or 2 or 3 verses at a time, memorize them. Next day, add 3 verses, or next 5 days. Remember first 3 verses, chant 2 times, and then new verses 5 times. What you memorized twice, then new. So that is how, hopefully, you'll remember the whole chapter. Then go to the next chapter. Bite size, by bite size. Swamiji, I read whole Gita every day. But, it's good idea, but you can't remember. Whole chapter also you can't remember. Even 10 verses you can't remember. 3 verses perhaps you can. If you chant 10 times or something like that, Because as it is, they are not versed with Sanskrit. And when you repeat Gita verses, if it registers the meaning in your mind, well and good. If it does not, you cannot remember. Since Gita is in Sanskrit, if you are familiar with Sanskrit, make sure that you understand. So, we have the book where we have given the word meaning of, in every verse. And so, study that verse properly, understand it, so that when you repeat in your mind, the meaning also, strikes to you. And that way, bite size. Take 1 or 2 verses at a time with meaning, so that it strikes in your mind. It will be easier to remember when you know the meaning. At this age, you cannot remember unless you know the meaning. The little someone will remember anything without knowing any meaning, Children in our, Gurukulam here, when they stand in front of the Aarti, they remember the whole thing. Their parents are looking at the books, even the Guru Stotram. Since 1 year, millions of years. Guru Stotram also we cannot remember, let alone the whole Aarti, So, this child doesn't understand but memorizes the whole thing. The rattles out. So, because their mind is like that, children's mind is like that, our mind is a little too, cluttered and crowded. And so, you have to make special effort to remember. Okay? Anything else? Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So good idea that you come at least when I am here, and maybe you can come once when Swami TV is here, so you can have 2 visits with all kinds of questions. And that will be a good idea to clarify.
Thank you, Swami.
Yeah.